Hello students, in this module I will be talking about bat pollination, also called as chiropterophyly. Look, listen and learn. So look at this beautiful picture once again right behind me. What do you see? You see a big bat trying to get to that flower in order to get to the nectar, right? But indirectly what it's going to do for that plant is perform bat pollination. So they say that the transfer of pollen grains through the agency of bats is called as chiropterophyly. Here the word chiropteron means bats and the word phyly we already know means loving or attracting. And obviously the plants that show this type of pollination are also called as chiropterophilous plants. It's a big word, we got to get it right. Okay, moving on. Let us see how the plants or how the flowers should be adapted. Now, if you look at this flower, it is a huge flower. It is a stout flower. And see how the bat is holding on to it. So the flower has to be large as well as stout so that the bat can hold on to the flower. Is that okay? Yes? Then next, look at this flower. Look at the time of the day. You think there's darkness behind? So these flowers are known to open during the night time. And we can say that chiropterophilous plants are nocturnal, which means their flowers open during the night. Also remember, these flowers produce a rotten fruit-like fermenting fruity odor, which is good enough to attract the bats at night. Is that okay? Moving on, you should also know that these flowers is going to produce copious amounts of nectar, which means a lot of nectar. Because remember, unlike birds, bats have a bigger appetite. They would want more nectar. So these plants produce copious nectar. Is it okay? Moving on. Now, look at this flower of a chiropterophilous plant. Look at the number of stamens. Oh my God, there are so many stamens here. So you must know that the flowers of these plants produce large number of stamens. Now when you are producing so many stamens, obviously you're going to end up making a lot of pollen. Is it okay? So they basically will make extremely large quantity of pollen grains. And when the bat visits such flowers, obviously all that pollen grain is going to get stuck onto the face of the bat while it's trying to get to the nectar. And when this bat moves to another flower, right, of this plant, what has happened? Bat pollination has just happened. Is that okay? Or we can also say chiropterophyly has happened. Does that make sense? Moving on. Let us see a few examples of the plants that perform chiropterophyly. One of the examples of chiropterophilous plant would be the plant right behind me called as Anthocephalus. It has a common name. It is also known by a name called as kadamba. Is that okay? And such flowers is going to definitely attract bat, right? So there you see the bat just came in and is trying to get to the nectar, and indirectly it is performing pollination for that plant. Is that okay? Another example of chiropterophilous plant would be right behind me, a plant called as Kigelia pinnata. Is that okay? You have to know this name very clearly. Kigelia pinnata once again will attract the bat for pollination. Is that okay? Yet another example right behind me is a plant by the name of Adansonia. Is that okay? Adansonia also has a common name. It is also called as baobab tree. Is that okay? And look at this flower. And look at all that stamens in the flower. This is also going to attract the bat. Oops, look, right behind me. There's a bat. It just got attracted to this flower. Is that okay? And finally, one more example of chiropterophilous plant include this plant with a beautiful flower by the name of Bauhinia. Okay, even Bauhinia performs bat pollination, right? So in this module I have talked about bat pollination, also called as chiropterophyly. In the next module I'll be talking about outbreeding devices. Till then, thank you and take care.